This week, there's a special focus on miracles. This is the Kriyat Yam Suf. There's the water taken from a rock. There's the sweetening of bitter waters using a tree. And there's one aspect of the parasha which actually reminds me of the movie Miracle, which was about the miracle on ice when the United States defeated the Russian hockey team during the Winter Olympics of 1980 in Lake Placid. But we're going to get back to that. What I want to focus actually on is the pasuk. As Bnei Israel realized that the Egyptians are running after them, the Torah says, "Vayis'u Bnei Yisrael teineim v'nei Mitzrayim nosea acharehem, vayir'u ma'od vayitz'aku Bnei Yisrael el Hashem." So the Jews look back and they see that the Egyptians are coming, but the Torah describes them as "Vayir'u Bnei Yisrael teineim v'yis'u Bnei Yisrael teineim v'nei Mitzrayim nosea acharehem." Mitzrayim noseh acharehem. And there's a problem here in the grammar because it should say Mitzrayim nosim acharehem. It's a lot of Egyptians, so it should speak in plural. The verb should be in plural. Nosim acharehem. Why is it nosea? Rashi picks up on this and he offers two explanations. And the second explanation is interesting. The second explanation is that the Egyptians were belev echad ki ish echad. Now, I know that sounds familiar because we know that later on in Parashat Yitro, when Bnei Israel reach Har Sinai and they're standing at the foot of the mountain, the Torah says that they encamp there, and it also uses a singular language, Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Ahar, that they encamped there, and it should have said Vayachanu, and Rashi comments over there that they were Ki Ish Echad, Belev Echad. Now they sound the same. Belev echad, ki ish echad, belev echad. But in reality, of course, they're inverted. How do we explain this? The Lubavitcher Rebbe and the Sakhatrover Rebbe, the Avnei Nezer, they both had the same explanation. They say there's a big difference between belev echad, ki ish echad, and ki ish echad, belev echad. When it says belev echad, ki ish echad, it means that what pulls the people together ultimately is the lev echad, the singular purpose. And only after they have a singular purpose, they have ki ish echad. But if it's ki ish echad belev echad, then it means that there's some relationship between the individuals first, which draws them together, and only then do they attack their singular purpose. Ki ish echad belev echad. When the Egyptians were running after the Jews, after Bnei Israel, the truth is, they didn't really have that cohesiveness, that unity of relationship. They only had unity of purpose. And the unity of purpose was what allowed them to act together. They were belev echad, ki ish echad. But when Bnei Israel encamped at Har Sinai, Hashem wanted to make sure first that they were ki ish echad, and only then belev echad. Only after they had that relationship between them, this love, ahava between them, ish l're'ehu, only then could they have a lev echad. Why is it important to have an ish echad before lev echad? So one point is that it has to be an ahava she'eina tluya b'davar. If you have lev echad and then only afterwards ish echad, then that means that the only thing pulling you together is purpose. And when that purpose falls away, the relationship falls away. The center cannot hold. Also, when it's people first, then you can have a relationship with someone even where they don't have the same outlook as you. Even if they don't have the same understanding of what the purpose is, as long as they have a larger idea of the purpose, you can get along with them first, and then you can attack the purpose as well. Which brings me to that scene in the movie Miracle. In the United States, there was a bunch of college kids, all from different places, different states, different universities. In fact, there were all these internal rivalries. They were fighting on the court, on the rink, on the ice, and they weren't really getting along, but they were part of the same team, so they knew they had to get onto the court together. After a game where it didn't seem like they were taking themselves so seriously, and they weren't taking the game so seriously, the coach, Herb Brooks, he put them onto the ice, and he forced them to do what's called suicides, to go back and forth, skating back and forth, over and over, and after every single rep, he had the assistant coach blow the whistle, say again, again, again. This was after a full game. The players were exhausted. They were dead on their feet. They were almost throwing up. The doctor was telling the coach to stop it, but he kept going. He wanted them to keep doing it. And it seemed like he was just punishing them. Nobody could understand, what does he want out of these players? Until in the dead of night, one of the players yells out, "Mike Urizioni," was his name, "from Winthrop, Massachusetts." And the coach stops and he says, "And who do you play for?" He says, "For the United States of America." The coach says, "Good night, gentlemen," and he lets them off the court. The message was that as long as they came from all different states, and they were simply there because they were playing for the same team, they had the same goal of winning, they didn't come together as a unit, as people. Their relationship never really developed. They were simply there for the same purpose. They were belev echad ki ish echad. And the coach said, that's not going to be enough. I need you to be ke'ish echad and then belev echad. From that moment on, once they realized that what bound them together, their unity of United States of America versus coming from all the different colleges and simply being there together to play hockey, once they got that idea in their heads, they started to get along, started to support each other. They really came together as a team. Ki ish echad, belev echad.